What's up, everybody? Welcome on into a Warchant.com breaking news recruiting-wise. We've got Michael Langston, our recruiting analyst, joining me. Aslan Hajavandi, your director of digital media. No rest for the weary, Michael. It's a Sunday, but Florida State getting some good news. A ring, ring, ring. Break it down. Who committed to Florida State on this Sunday?
Well, it's on Sunday. They got Malachi Wideman, a talented wide receiver from Sarasota, Florida, at Sarasota High School or Sarasota Riverview High School, and certainly a big pickup for him because they haven't had a receiver in this class yet. So, adding a premier guy like him that can play both football and basketball. He plans to do both at FSU. He's a pretty good basketball player, so you kind of get it from both ends where it's a solid pickup from both ends. Can do a lot on the hoops, on the court, and then also on the football field. Very athletic guy, very dynamic as far as speed and everything you look for as far as in this offense that Browns and Dugans and Taggart want in this offense. So certainly it's a huge pickup for FSU to get Malachi in the boat.
I don't know how much of a surprise this was. We're trying to do our spring tour, and I know you definitely wanted to catch up with Malachi, so I think you kind of had a good feeling. I know you're waiting to hear from him as you guys have a discussion, but ultimately, what were sort of the vibes that you were getting from him about Florida State? I assume that he visited before.
Yeah, he visited for the spring game. Had a really good visit. He visited with his mom. His mom's a big FSU. I think she was a former athlete there, but I'm not 100% on that. But she was a big fan of Florida State, so she loved Florida State. He loved Florida State growing up. So you kind of felt the vibes that it was going to end up in a positive way for FSU. He liked it a lot. He liked the conversations he had with Browse about the offense and how he's going to be used, and just the up tempo. He really connected with all that stuff. But I think he really liked also the culture that FSU is doing. What they're planning on doing as far as turning things around and and looking like a different team than what people saw last year. And I think he's buying into all that stuff and feels really comfortable with them. And I think it was actually, I thought it would happen last weekend, but he had a basketball tournament, so he couldn't do it then. So they got it worked out today. He's not one of those kids that tweets a lot or does that stuff. So, Malachi kind of, retweeted our breaking news on his own commitment, which was kind of funny. I've never seen that done before, but that's just kind of him. He knows where he wants to go. FSU is the place, and certainly a major addition for them. But I actually thought he was going to do it last weekend, but it happened today. But I definitely knew it was going to happen soon. I kind of prepared you and Gene and Ira and all these, everyone that, hey, this thing could happen soon. So, be prepared. But I don't think the timing didn't really surprise me. And certainly the school, choice didn't surprise me because I think his mom had actually visited FSU for a junior day earlier this year. Malachi wasn't there, but she visited for him. So that kind of told you where this thing was trending, for a while. But I think most people that were kind of had a finger and pulse on this one kind of knew FSU was going to win this one.
I know recruiting by and large is definitely a team effort when it comes to the staff, the coaching staff, that is. How much of this, though, would you put on the shoulder of Ron Dugans and maybe Florida State fans starting to see the impact of just how good of a recruiter he really is?
Well, I think Ron did a really good job when Malachi visited, for the spring game. He got a chance to get to know him, what he's like as a person, personality-wise, scheme-wise, what he's going to be used. I think the big guy, though, in this recruitment's been Raymond Woody. He's been the guy that's headlined this thing for a while. He's the main recruiter. Did an exceptional job here. Did a great job as far as getting FSU's foot in the door, and then kind of the offense. Dugans, Browse kind of took over from there, but Raymond was the big one as far as putting all this together and laying the blueprint and really getting FSU in a good place with Malachi before he got a chance to see FSU in depth. So I think first of all, you have to give Woody a big credit on this one, but also Dugans, because if he doesn't like Dugans or he doesn't connect with him, all that work doesn't really mean anything. And so I think it was a total team effort with everyone, with Taggart, to the culture that Taggart, is building there. And then with Dugan's, his connection and, being a position coach and, and how comfortable he feels around him. And then obviously Woody did a tremendous job, as I mentioned, just really having a guy that he can come to for anything, just, anything's on his mind, he can talk to at any time. And just a guy he feels comfortable with, because it's more than just, everyone thinks it's like, oh, you're a position coach, but it's more than that. It's a lot to do with your comfort around all the staff members, or a lot of the staff members. So I think it was a team effort, but I think Raymond Woody was the guy that led the charge here.
Malachi Wideman's a 4-star recruit, 6'5", 190 is what he's listed in on the Rivals.com database. So I guess, obviously a lot of folks will start making assumptions just based on his measurables, Michael, but just what kind of wide receiver is he? Is he a deep ball threat? Is he a one-trick kind of pony, or just how developed do you think his game is, looking at the tape that you've been able to take a peek at?
Well, I think he has ways to go as far as different parts of his game. He's not a one-trick pony, but he's not fully developed either yet. I mean, he's got a really good speed, really athletic guy that can do a lot of. You can use him inside, you can use him outside. So in that way, you can use him in a lot of different avenues as far as how you attack defenses. Route running, he can get a little cleaner in that. I mean, more precise with that stuff. He can be more dynamic as far as, I think he'll be more dynamic once the route running and the technique catches up with the athletic ability of what I see on film when I watch him. But certainly the high skill level is what you see, and but the fine tuning is what we now have to see as far as when he gets to FSU, what Dugans can do with him, what Browse can do with him, and developing him. But certainly a lot of high potential and skill there, as far as that. But route running, you want to see that a little bit better. He can get a little bit better as far as speed wise, but his hands are very good. He's got very good hands. He can do a lot of different things.
And as you said, I mean, he's a legitimate basketball prospect as well, so his athleticism is definitely off the charts. And speaking of the charts, Florida State up now to number 5 in the nation for the 2020 recruiting cycle right now. They're number 5 behind Miami, Bama, LSU, and Clemson, so making a big stride by getting Wideman on board. Who were some of the primary competition, do you think, when it came down to Malachi's choice here between Florida State?
I'd probably say the in-state schools like, Florida and Miami. Main one was Florida that we heard, but I think, I'm not downgrading those teams, but
do it. Downgrade them.
I don't think there was a lot of competition here, just because there was so many connections to Florida State. With his mom loving FSU, with what FSU's doing on the basketball court, he liked that too. What FSU's doing with their culture inside their locker room. There was just so many connections to FSU that it was just, I don't think there was really a close second, in my opinion, just because there were so many things that he loved about FSU. Plus, he grew up liking them, so it was kind of a match made in heaven just on everything that was clicking for them in this recruitment. But I'd say, I guess if I had to pick one team, I'd pick Florida because he visited there, but. I think it was mainly, the main competition was mostly the in-state schools.
Again, on Sunday evening, Malachi Wideman from Sarasota Riverview High School down in Sarasota, Florida, committed to Florida State. He's a 4-star wide receiver, 6'5", 190. That puts Florida State right now number 5 in the nation in terms of recruiting class, according to Rivals.com. Follow everything Michael's doing right now when it comes to recruiting over on Warchant.com and the Premium Recruiting Board. Use the promo code Warchant30 if you're not a member. That'll get you a 30-day free trial. Michael will have quotes and catch up with Malachi, and also plenty more to come as the spring recruiting tour gears up. Michael and I, where we're going? We're going to Suncoast. We're going to my house, my backyard this coming week, right?
Central Florida, baby. That's where we're headed. We're gonna hit up Tampa, Orlando. Obviously we're gonna go see Malachi, and then we'll squeeze in whatever we can do. Now I will say this too about Malachi. I know there's been rumors about his grades. I'm gonna check on that just to see where things stand. Obviously Malachi can give us a front row update as far as where that stands, but I haven't heard anything worrisome yet as far as that goes. But I know with rumors you still have to check on that stuff. So I will I will check on that. I plan on checking on that. And but I will say this: the same thing I said to people on our message board when he committed is, most cases, just about all cases, especially when Raymond Woody's involved. If he's involved, they usually do not go after kids or push this hard unless they fully expect this kid to make it. So if there is grade concerns, I think FSU thinks he's going to make it.
Right on. All right. He's Michael. I'm Aslan. Thanks for watching. Keep it connected to warchant.com.